Now here's a guy whose favorite place at Enchanted Hills Camp is an air-conditioned OJ radio room. Your Laugh Out Loud host, Masceo.
Hello, EHC. Yes, as you all know by now, EHC is the place to be. Welcome to Everything EHC Summer Fun Podcast. And a big thank you to my wife, Kate, for bringing back her introductions for this part 2 of 70th Anniversary Special Edition. So excited to be back for part 2 of this special edition. Happy anniversary to Enchanted Hills Camp, one of my favorite places to be, and welcome to all of you listeners out there today, tomorrow, anytime you're listening to this special edition podcast. Once again, we are talking milestones, past, present, future of Enchanted Hills Camp. You know, Kate mentioned the radio room. Yeah, I love it. The radio room is special because it has so many variant things that happen in the same space. Obviously, when OJ Radio first opens, when there's a group of folks there, it's just absolutely packed and people are having so much fun. And then there's these moments where, like at the end of a family camp or maybe night swimming at the pool, where you're in there playing music for camp and you're all by yourself. It's a lonely situation sometimes in there, and everything in between, which also is one of the things that makes OJ Radio Room super special for me throughout the years that I have been able to be a part of that program. Thank you to OJ Radio. Shout out to Enchanted Hills Camp radio station. We love doing so much music, and we turned it into a recording studio at one point. You know, history, reminiscing. That's what this is all about here on Everything EHC. But then if you move that conversation outside for me, my favorite place outside at Enchanted Hills Camp is probably a popular place, I would imagine. When I woke up after my first night at staying at Enchanted Hills Camp, a few of my brand new team members who I just met said, "Do you want to take the nature trail back up to camp first thing in the morning?" And I was like, sure. And we got down to Lower Chapel, and it was super powerful. Just the quiet that morning. We stopped and I took my first couple of pictures of Enchanted Hills Camp. Lower Chapel is somewhere special, not only at Enchanted Hills Camp, but I would also say in the world. Now let's hear from one of our 2020 CITs.
Hi, I'm Alexia. I'm calling in from San Jose, California. I was a CIT this year in 2020. My favorite activity is art. My favorite meal is the quesadillas with chips and the homemade double chocolate chip cookies. My favorite place on camp would have to be the Kiva, because improv. Happy 70th anniversary, EHC.
Thank you, Alexia, Counselor in Training 2020. So nice to have all of those young adults involved in Everything EHC's 70th anniversary special. One of my own personal milestones that I was able to achieve this summer was releasing my 5th full-length digital release entitled My Summers at EHC. When I found out that camp was going to be closed, in the sense that we were not going to be there physically. I expedited this project that I had been working on for a long time, and it ended up being 18 original tracks, all inspired by, written about. Even a lot of the recordings were done at Enchanted Hills Camp, and it was put together in a really nice way. Lots of special guests from campers to team members over the past several years, and it was an absolute amazing experience to put all of this music together and be able to release it in a timely fashion so that people were able to experience it over the summer. If you have not heard the material yet, you are welcome to check it out on any of your favorite streaming services, or you can just Google Masceo, my name, and then my summers at EHC, and it will come up. Along with doing that project, Tony, our camp director, asked me to be part of a production company that put on some shows on Friday evening, some virtual shows called the EHC Give Back Concert. And we were raising money for this amazing project called Chime Hinge. And Chime Hinge is essentially a bunch of these really giant chimes, these really huge 6, 7, 8, 10-foot tall chimes that are going to be hung up in a fashion that will be totally sensory, noise in the forest, beautiful things happening. Don't want to give too much away because, surprises are nice, and I don't even know to what extent they're doing Chime Hinge, but we raised money for it through this Give Back concert, and we had so many wonderful performers, which included Graham Norwood, who actually got to perform at Enchanted Hills Camp, kicked it off. Then we had Lawrence Brown and the Vitruvian Project. We had Mariana Sandoval Lintz. We had myself. We had Fernando Apan from Mexico City. We had Christina Jones. Phil Madeira from Nashville joined us for a performance. Then the finale was Bruce Coburn, who performed in the backyard of Nurse Bill from Enchanted Hills Camp. And then there was a really cool show thrown in there called the All-Star Shows, which included myself and Mariana and Josh Lintz performed, as well as Derek Dittmar and Shane Dittmar, both guys who have a history with Enchanted Hills Camp as enrichment area leaders and campers. We also had Sky Mundell from Canada perform, and Daniel Cavazos, who is now a teacher of music, was part of the Music Academy and the Music Camp. What a super fun show that was. All of the shows can be re-watched at the Lighthouse for the Blind San Francisco Facebook page, except for the Bruce Coburn show. A lot of them are on the Enchanted Hills Camp Facebook page as well. You can re-watch any of those performances. We had a good time, raised a bunch of money. We learned how to use Zoom and Facebook Live. Being part of the production team was amazing because I got to be a part of the musicianship and a part of the tech, and just really fun to learn more about what's going on with technology, especially with these interesting times as we try to adapt to what was going on, which then translated to Music Camp, which I'm going to talk about at the end of the show, and as well as all of the activities that I was able to provide for our teams, the campfires, just so many wonderful events, even though we weren't able to have camp. How about another counselor in training?
Hi, my name is Rocco. I'm from Salinas, California. I was a CIT this year. And my favorite activity is pretty hard to say. I have a bunch that I really like a lot. I like archery a lot, though. Maybe that's it. For art, I don't know. My favorite meal is pizza and lemon bars. One of my favorite places at camp is Lower Chapel, where you can hear the creek. Happy 70th anniversary.
Thank you, Rocco, so much for your comments. Another wonderful CIT participating in that program this year. I've known Rocco since I have been at camp in 2014. So awesome to see all of these youngsters growing up into adults, past, present, future. I got a nice, I got a super awesome caller coming in here in a second. We're gonna have a chat. I think you all are gonna enjoy who this is. Hang on, here we go. I think I got it. Thank you for calling in to Everything EHC. Who is here on the line with us right now?
Well, Masceo, this is Nurse Bill Simpson, calling in from San Francisco.
Nurse Bill, thank you so much again for joining us on Everything EHC. It's nice to have you and hear your voice. Man, what a crazy year this has been, right?
It has been.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we've been talking about milestones. It's, Enchanted Hills Camp 70th anniversary. This is a milestone for you this year. Tell us what that milestone is, Nurse Bill.
Well, this is my 20th year as the RN at EHC consecutively, and it has been such a growing and wonderful experience for me through these years.
20 years! Congratulations! We talked to Annalisa earlier. She has reached her 10-year. We are talking to you now, 20 years, so that means you joined up in 2000.
That's correct.
Yeah, 2000. Yes. And have you missed a summer? Like, my question is, has there been a summer where you did not go to camp?
No, I've been there every summer, and usually 100% of the summer, and as little as 90%.
For 20 years.
That is correct.
For 20 years. How do you feel about that now that you've reached the 20-year mark, looking back on it?
Well, that's a great question. I feel very happy about it. I think that I've had the privilege of watching so many of the kids grow up and go to college, find careers, get married, have children, and that has been a real blessing to me personally. To see them grow and develop as individuals has been very fulfilling for me as a person. But I haven't aged a bit.
No, you haven't. I'm sure you look the same 20 years ago in the camp photos as you do now.
That's right.
I hear McGregor's on the line there. Is he there?
He's on the line now. He's checking in. He's saying hello. He's been now at camp for almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years with McGregor, barking at all the animals in the morning.
That's right.
Yeah, we love McGregor. Thanks, Bill, for sharing those nice words. It is about the people at EHC and the connections we make. It's a beautiful place with a bunch of beautiful people, including yourself. Let's talk about this year a little bit. It was definitely a unique year. I talked a little bit about some of the virtual things that happened, but we did our Give Back concert, and you brought two musicians on board. I would like to have you talk just a little bit about Phil and Bruce and what happened this year with the Give Back concert and the wonderful music they provided. Can you do that for me?
I can. Well, one of the people that came, who is a friend of mine, is Phil Madeira, and he lives in Nashville, Tennessee, and He works a lot with Emmylou Harris and actually has his own wonderful recording career as well. And he was thrilled to do a concert for us. He plays kind of more of a blues kind of style, maybe a little bit of jazz as well.
Yes, and a very cool person to talk to. His performance was awesome, but as well as Tony talking to him, their conversation was really cool. It was really nice to have him on board. And then you had a concert in your backyard.
I did, and that concert, which was in the middle of August, was with a good friend of mine who lives here in the neighborhood by the name of Bruce Coburn. And he was more than willing to do that for us, and he donated his time. And Bruce has won, I think, 12 Juno Awards, which is equal to our Grammys, our kind of like Canadian Grammys.
Yes. Bruce, to me, I would call him a song craftsman or journeyman. He understands songwriting so well. If you listen to any of his music and just have an open mind, his guitar playing, his words. I grew up with one of his songs. When he got to that song and his performance at the end, you said some beautiful words, and then he started that song, and I got very emotional because it was camp and my childhood and Nurse Bill and Tony and my wife, and she's rubbing my back, and I'm listening to this beautiful song. It was a great EHC moment for me, even though we weren't able to be at camp. Thank you for bringing those guys on board. We hope to continue working with them in the future, maybe even get them up to camp. How did you feel about this summer? Did you have any nursing responsibilities?
No, I had no nursing responsibilities, really. My role was more really assisting with the concert series and raising money, which is also what I like to do.
Excellent. Would you just take a moment to just ask for some money in this podcast?
Well, I will be happy to do that. And EHC has proven to be such a wonderful environment for people to grow in, for people to become who they really are, and to be on equal footing with all of their peers. It has changed people's lives as individuals. It has changed my life. It is growing, and we need to be rebuilding to make it even better than what it was before. And so I'm asking that you pledge anywhere between $5 to as many thousands of dollars as you would like to grow our Enchanted Hills camp.
That's excellent. Thank you for sharing that, Bill. We suffered a fire in 2017, which we've talked about. And now there are just so many more improvements that are going to be done. We're going to hear about some of those improvements later on in the show. But it takes money to do these improvements. It takes money to maintain this wonderful place. So thank you for asking. If anybody wants to donate, lighthousesf.org. You can also contact me here at masceo.net, masceo.net. I can point you in the right direction. Thank you, Nurse Bill, for that. And now we're to the fun part here. We're going to ask you a couple of quick questions here to see what your answers are regarding the wonderful things that happen at EHC Camp. First, let's start with your favorite place, your favorite location at camp. Where do you like to be?
Where do I like to be? Well, I like the... oh gosh, I don't even know what it's called anymore. It's not the kiva, it's a little round place.
The yurt?
The yurt.
The yurt.
The yurt is my favorite place to go and be still. And I like I can hear the water from there. And so that's probably one of my favorite places.
A good spot. Your cabin also has air conditioning, which is also a good spot.
It is, and we only got air conditioning 2 summers ago. So
yeah, exactly. And 3 summers ago, we had it in the radio room. And I remember you came into the radio room and you were like, "Wait a minute!"
So,
when did this happen? All right. The yurt. Excellent. What is your favorite meal at camp?
Oh, I'm a really rather basic guy, and so I would say my favorite meal at camp would be our veggie burger hamburger lunch.
What is your all-time favorite activity?
Casino night.
Casino night is on the board.
Yes.
What about casino night? What is it? What do we do at casino night? Tell our listeners what's up.
I love the energy of casino night. I love how all of the counselors are so involved and how all of the campers are involved and that they have some good, healthy competition with each other. It's just a lot of fun, I think. So that's one of my favorites.
That's
and
a good
you never
one.
know what's going to come out of some campers' mouths as far as great lines and just a lot of fun.
Memorable moments. They have provide several different games. Just a lot of tradition in that night for sure as well. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. That's a good one. Would you like to wish Enchanted Hills Camp a happy 70th, Nurse Bill?
Yes, I do wish Enchanted Hills Camp a very happy 70th, and may you have at least another 70 that are very fulfilling and with as many wonderful people as we have had in our history so far.
Perfect. Thank you, Nurse Bill, for calling in to Everything EHC. If you want to hear other Nurse Bill stories, you can check out Everything EHC episode 2.67 with some nice history of Nurse Bill. He's joined the show before. You can check that out again on my website, episode 2.67. That was year 2. Thanks for joining us, Nurse Bill, and we hope you have a great year, and we hope to see you again next summer. The future, are you going to be with us in the future? Yes?
My plan is to be with us in the future.
Okay, excellent.
How it all unfolds.
Excellent. Always looking forward to seeing you and hearing you, Nurse Bill. Thanks for joining us on Everything EHC, and we will talk to you real soon, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. What a super nice treat having Nurse Bill on the show. Once again, thank you for taking time out of your day to join us and tell us more about Enchanted Hills Camp from your perspective. That was wonderful. Thank you. One of the folks who has been part of Enchanted Hills Camp history for a long time and now actually works at the Lighthouse for the Blind is my friend and team member this year, Mr. Jamie Gump. Let's hear from him.
Hi, my name is Jamie Gump. I'm the Youth Services Coordinator at the Lighthouse for Blind and Visually Impaired in San Francisco. I'm from Menlo Park, California. Like Rocco, I have many favorite activities, but my all-time favorite activity is campfire. And hearing people share all their favorite activities and the hopes and dreams they have for the future. My favorite place on camp is the Lower Chapel Ridge, just sitting above there listening to the creek. My favorite meal is Burrito Bar. And of course I come in and yell, Burrito Bar! Happy 70th anniversary, EHC.
Another excellent person I always look forward to seeing on my journeys at Enchanted Hills Camp. Thank you, Jamie Gump, for joining us here on Everything EHC. So we're at this wonderful place where telling stories and reminiscing about Enchanted Hills Camp is able to help carry us there in our psyche after having to miss a summer this summer. I hope this podcast is bringing some of you as much joy as it brings me, connecting with people, reconnecting with people, thinking about camp, talking about camp, listening to music, having the Enchanted Hills Camp experience as often as possible without actually being there. With that being said, I had the privilege of putting together a music camp, a virtual music camp. It ended up having to be 2 groups because there was so much interest in what was happening. I will be talking about that music camp a little bit in the beginning of part 3, so stay tuned for that, as well as my final interview for part 3. I'm going to keep it a surprise. I will give you 2 really cool things here at the end of part 2. One is...
Hey guys, this is Tian from all the way down under in Sydney, Australia. I just wanted to share my favorite EHC camp activities, which are my all-time favorite of campouts, as well as archery. And I wanted to give a massive happy 70th anniversary to EHC. We love you guys.
So nice to hear from Tian Taylor all the way from the other side of the world in Australia. Thanks for the shout out, Tian. It's very nice to hear your voice. EHC misses you as well. One of the most enthusiastic outside campers I have ever seen. Puts on a great program with that camp out. Love all of those memories. Excellent. I got one more surprise for you. Part 3 is also going to conclude our CIT shout-outs. We'll get to hear the rest of those from our counselors in training, as well as some other information about the end of the year and the future of Enchanted Hills Camp. So please keep a watch out for episode 3. We hope you enjoyed episode 2, but before I go, something special happened in 2017. The amphitheater stage had just been built. The new benches were going in down there, and we had a little bit of a house band, myself on guitar, Lawrence Brown on drums, and we had Joe on the bass. And we invited a very special guest to join us for our performance at a family camp. And I'm pretty sure I am one of the only folks that has a snippet of this performance. So without further ado, here is just a couple of seconds of our very own camp director, Tony Fletcher, singing American Girl with the house band backing him, and it is a cover of a classic Tom Petty tune. Check this out.
So painful, something that's so worth. Oh yeah, and all night. Take it easy, baby. Make it last all night. She was an American girl.
And there you have it, folks, the end of part 2 of Everything EHC Summer Fun Podcast 70th Anniversary Special. My name is Masceo. I am your host, and I hope to see you for part 3. I hope you enjoyed part 2. Thank you to all of our listeners and our supporters. I'd like to thank the Lighthouse and Enchanted Hills Camp, and thank my wife and everybody involved in this wonderful project. And we will see you for part 3 very soon. Hello, EHC! EHC is the place to be.